Hey, you guys, welcome back to Tika Time. Today's a really important topic that we honestly don't talk to you guys much about, and it's the topic of money. So I feel like with different cultures, there's different taboos. And it's so funny because in my Indian culture, like everybody talks about money. And it is super normal to ask somebody how much money they make, even ask them about like how much they paid for certain things. And you know what? Sometimes I catch myself doing this too because that was normal for me. But it's not necessarily normal in America. I just feel in general in this country, people are just really polite. So, not that I'm saying like Indians are rude, but I mean, kind of. I can't tell you, like, literally, let me just tell you, my grandmother said to me, well, she was talking to my mom, thought that I was like too young to understand. I wasn't. I was like well over 10. She said to my mom, me, is so dark. How is she ever going to get married? Yes, my grandma. But now I have to tell you guys how it works. Our culture is very open. Like if you gained weight, you're going to know about it. All right. Everybody's going to tell you about it. But in the American culture, it's just like, it's not polite. You don't say, like, it's the same thing. Like if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. I disagree. And I feel like I'm like Indian and American, right? Like I fall kind of in between. And this is like the wonderful thing about being multi, I guess, a cultural, right? Yeah, I'll be multicultural because what is really helpful is that you can learn from other people's cultures. So, I can take the good stuff from my Indian culture and I can take some good stuff from our American culture and decide how I'm going to raise my kids and handle, my life and family. So while something might be taboo in one culture, it won't be taboo in another. Like, for example, if anybody wants to talk about anything to deal with relationships and, things people do in relationships in India, that's a no-go. Like, they're just going to stare at you and be like really awkward. So, that's like the same kind of idea that happens in America with money. What gets lost though is when we are completely taboo and we don't talk about the issue. Like in India, or actually no, Indian kids in America with their families. Like I grew up like this. Like I could not talk to my parents about relationships with guys. That's just wasn't something that I could go to them for. But I could go to them for other issues, especially money and how much money I'm making and is that enough? And, how much does it cost to buy a car? And, am I spending my money well? It would have been so helpful if I could have gone to my parents at an earlier age to talk about relationships between boys and girls. I was fortunate though that I was really close with my parents. I'm like best friends with them. So when I got to college, I started feeling more comfortable about that issue, mostly because they thought that they were going to get me an arranged marriage. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Hold on. And I couldn't like have them, just go off with those ideas. So I got an opportunity to talk with my mom about marriage and like, when I was dating my husband at the time and, talking about how men are and how I was like, is this normal? And she was like, yes, it is. So, it's helpful. It helps you grow. It helps you feel like you've got support. So now the other end, the other side of it where money is kind of more taboo in America, I do feel like we need to talk about it more with you guys. I'm an entrepreneur, you guys. I left my engineering job. And let me just tell you, right before I actually left the career completely, I was offered a job as a medical sales rep. Y'all know what that is? They make bank. Okay. So it was like the completely wrong time for me to get this job. I just had found out I was pregnant with my first daughter, and it's a big commitment. Okay. But if I was in my 20s, like, right after college, or I was like I was 29, I think, at the time. So it wasn't the right time. And I knew I wanted to stay home with my kids and give them all the attention during the primary growing years, which are so important. And I just knew that that wasn't where my future was headed. And, if I had like 1 or 2 kids, I would have gone back, but I wanted 4. I wanted a big family. So, that wasn't in my future, even though I thought it is what I wanted. I just didn't understand time. And, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you guys like navigate through that. So things come at wrong times. Okay. And your ideas about money, like, yes, that would have been, making well over 200 grand with medical sales would have been amazing. Right. And then instead, we were like, lived very frugally, let's say, for a while, because I really wanted to do a career that I really cared about. And I know what my strengths were, but I just didn't have anybody like helping guide me, especially, since I was an athlete in college. I just didn't really have time to think about these things. Find myself in my 20s, spit out of college, and like, WTF, what am I supposed to do? Like, because I hate my job. And then I wish I had this job again. I didn't get that until I couldn't have it. So rude. So then, my ideas about money were changing. And I really, truly felt that in my heart, money is not important. I have a very close relationship with God. And I do feel like and it says this, I'm pretty sure in the Bible, something about like, you can choose, God or money, basically. And I'm not saying, again, I am absolutely very ambitious. And it's not that I don't have any monetary goals, but that money is not going to come from something besides doing God's work. Does that make sense? So that's the one thing. So now, again, as I am an entrepreneur, and I've been like very frugal at times, and didn't have much money and left it. Okay, you guys remember, I had an opportunity to make it, but I didn't choose to make it because I had bigger and deeper ideas that resonated more with my soul that I must do. Okay, so what my point in saying all that is, if you don't care about money, or if you don't care about like choosing a career that's not going to make you a lot of money, that's totally fine. All right. All I'm saying is, whether you care about it or not, you're going to have to deal with it. And you have to make realistic ideas about what kind of lifestyle you want to pursue and how much money you're going to make. Okay. Those have to match. And that's why we're doing this here at Tika Time, is because I don't want you guys to waste away your high school years in this pursuit of thinking that you are going to be a billionaire, or this like crazy, professional athlete. That could happen. I'm not saying that's not going to happen for you. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you are in this idea of this happening in the future, but you're not doing anything about it right now. All right. So you have to make the steps right now to achieve whatever monetary success you want later. The earlier you start thinking about those things, the better chances of that actually happening, because it's manifesting your own destiny, right? That is a thing. And we're going to talk more about that through my channel. You guys, literally, we live in the matrix, and you can have anything you want. All right. Abundance is everywhere. You can achieve anything you want as long as you put your mind, develop goals, and start working like one step at a time, just getting closer and closer to that goal. All right. And I'm here to help you as always. But so now, money, right? So if you are thinking that money's not important and you don't care, it's going to be a really loud wake-up call once you graduate college, because things cost a lot. And if you want to look good, things cost even more. And if you want to like actually be healthy, then you should be buying good quality food, right? That costs money. If you want to live in a place that's, safe and, not breaking down or like having, roach infestations, you're going to have money to pay for that. You like hot showers, you're going to have to pay for those hot water or the water bill and the electricity, the heating, right? So I'm telling you guys, like, there are minimum things you need, and you would be shocked, appalled, I'll tell you, at how much they cost, because I was appalled. And then you realize quickly, like, oh my gosh, my salary is like, leaves no money for, taking my honey out to go get something to eat. Or maybe you don't have a honey. Now you got to go to the club and drop $15 a drink to just be there, and scope the scene. And oh my gosh, all of that adds up and it becomes so expensive. So what I'm telling you is you got to care about money. All right. Now, how much you're going to make depends on you. I want you to decide what kind of lifestyle you want to pursue. What do you want? You want a private jet? Okay, well, you're going to need, multi-million dollars, right? Tens of millions to buy a private jet and be able to afford keeping one. Now, you want to just take one out for the weekend and rent it? That's a great idea. All right, you might not need as much. So the things is like, how much do you want to have to own? That takes maintenance, and that's where your money will go. So if you have a more expensive car, let's say you want to have a Lamborghini or something, Lamborghinis are going to cost more to repair and to maintain. If you want a huge mansion, again, going to cost more for you to maintain. So I always, in my life, you guys, I always wanted like a small, cute cottage in the country. I'm not super in the country. That's still one of my dreams, is like maybe I can move somewhere with more land. I want animals. I want beautiful flowers. I want trees. I want to be able to take walks. And then there's a couple other things. Like, I do want abundance. Do I want a private jet? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if that works out, it's not like that's something that's high on my priority list. Do I want to travel places? Yes. So do I need a private jet to do that? No. I can just get an airplane ticket. I love adventure. I love to discover new cultures and, travel the world. I love it. I love traveling. I love road tripping. I love camping. That's like so easy on the dime. And then I love to eat really healthy food. One other thing, I like to go to the Caribbean for vacationing. So that's something that I want to do every year. So again, figure out what it is that you want to do. One more thing I have to mention is you, our children, take so much of the money. All right. So what kind of life do you want to provide for your children? I know you're not thinking about this right now. When you think about being single, you can live well on less money. But now, depending on how many kids you want and what kind of family lifestyle you want, you got to consider this about your future career and which direction you're going to go. We'll talk more about this. I'll make more videos about money because this isn't enough, but this is long enough and I got to go. So have an awesome day. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time.